Very cold. It's cold. It's really cold. Colder at night. We're into full cold mode. It's cold. And it's cold. It is. It's very cold. Cold. It's cold. I'm cold.
You're always cold.
It's Baltic.
Hello and welcome back.
Welcome back to our super spiffy YouTube channel.
It's been a while.
We've had a little YouTube holiday. Like all great YouTubers, they get a bit YouTube fatigued and have to take a little bit of time off, don't we? So we've had a little bit of time off. What have we been doing?
Well, we've been doing baby things, as you can imagine. We hired a lovely house up in the Lake District, spent some time with family and had the benefits of space.
What, like outer space?
No, space away from him.
Rude.
There were times when I didn't even have eye contact.
We've been changing nappies, wiping bottoms and bathing babies.
But enough of that, we're back in the van and we're ready to get travelling again. So you might be able to hear that we're in Storm Ashley, and it's just reminded us that winter's fast approaching.
It's reminded us now that we need to get ready for this upcoming winter where we will be still in our van.
And it'll be our third winter, and we've had some shocking weather.
Yeah, and over these 3 winters, and don't forget we've also done Arctic Circle as well, we've sort of learnt a thing or two about getting the van prepared and winter-proof. Although we've still got a bit of stuff to develop, haven't we? Because we've learned as things go along. So in this vlog, we're going to let you know what we've done to our van, how we've developed it, and how we sort of manage in temperatures, prolonged temperatures of up to -14, which is about as cold as we've been. Like most new vans, or modern new vans, there's a minimum European standard for insulation. So the insulation has got to be able to maintain a temperature internally of -5 when the external temperature is -15. That sounds a bit weird, -5, but it's just showing a temperature difference of 10 degrees at an extreme. But also the capability of the heating to take the internal temperature from -15 to +15 in 20 minutes. So if you're in the market for a new van, that's sort of the benchmark figure. Of course, if you spend an absolute fortune on some of the real top-end vans, I'm sure they're even more efficient. But just so you know, that's the minimum standard, and I think that's where our van is, and we manage all year round on that. What we did do when we bought the van is we spec'd the winter pack. The winter pack sounds a bit dramatic, but actually it's 3 things. The underslung external water tanks are lagged with a base blanket. We also have vent covers externally for where the fridge is. I tend to put them on when the external temperature is consistently less than 10 degrees, and it helps the fridge run more efficient, keeps a bit of the draft out. Actually, if you don't have the winter pack, you can get yourself on eBay and do a bit of a search. You can buy them for about £8 each anyway. Because I've only got 2 CSEs, I have to leave myself notes everywhere.
It is a good idea though. I am impressed.
I feel warmer already. I do need more hats though.
Hang on a minute.
Hang on a minute, what?
You need to go back to that other one.
Which other one?
Yeah, that one.
That's my favourite.
It's just not happening. It is not being worn in public ever again.
Okay.
Yeah, and that one's not great either, love, sorry.
This is my waterproof hat. And finally, the winter pack consists of tank heaters. That's the tank heaters on, and I've put a little bit of Velcro there in a really obvious place in van so I can always see it, because I don't want to forget to turn them off in my crazy old age.
Why?
1 second. we don't need to put this in. I'm just going to put my glass on, then I'll look dead clever because I'm talking technical stuff. We'll cut that bit out after. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. The tank heaters are very clever. As soon as the temperature gets to 5 degrees or below, they automatically, thermostatically controlled, switch on and stop the fresh water and the wastewater freezing. Downside to them is they take a bit of a draw on the power. So each heater for each tank is 2.5 amps max. So that's a grand total of 5 amps max, which over 12 hours could be 60 amp hours at the most. So big draw on the battery. Now we're okay because we did other upgrades, but still I don't want to forget to turn them off and then suddenly run out of battery. I take these off.
Yeah, you
now.
can take them off now.
Take them off now. Now I'm back to normal again.
Okay. Okay, so how much did we pay for the winter pack and was it worth it?
The winter pack, when we spec'd the van, when we first bought it, was about 350 quid. They've been successful because we haven't had a frozen tank. So once you switch them on, when it gets to about that sort of temperature, they will only activate when the temperature drops below 5 degrees and of course when there's water in the tank, because there's a float switch in there to make sure they don't activate when the tanks are dry.
Well, Storm Ashley was a storm indeed last night.
They were proper bad, yeah.
We could hear a strange noise, a banging noise.
And there's no banging in our van.
And what was it, Andrew?
It was screwing, or rather
The lack of screwing.
poor screwing. I always thought we were a better screwer than that, but obviously not, because it's come undone.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
So if you've made it this far through our ramblings, thank you very much for watching. We hope you're finding it useful.
I'm learning loads off myself.
And a special shout out to Sylvia from Whitehaven, who YouTube recognised Andrew in the service station.
Yes, because I'm YouTube famous. Thanks, Sylvia.
It's the first time he's been recognised on his own, bless him. It made his day. So last night's windiness highlighted some points that we found in the van from the last couple of winters, and it's about drafts. In our van we have this little step here, and underneath there are some vents that go to the outside, which is obviously great for ventilation. However, they're really drafty. So a couple of things we've done to limit the drafts. First of all, we fitted these vents. And the second thing we did was to try and limit the drafts from under here, in particular from this big hole here, because it's really drafty. And to do that, we've just used a throw which we can tuck in and cover the draft. But it's not pretty and it's a pain in the neck to do, so if anybody's got any better ideas, we would love to hear from you. And the other issue we have is the cab, and I don't mean this person here, but we still find that the cab is the coldest place in the van at night time. So we can close off the vents in the front, we can put the dial to recirculate, we can use the inbuilt blinds, and we can close the curtains, and it's still cold and it's still drafty. So what we've done for the past 2 years is put up an extra thermal curtain that velcros to the sides of the cab, and that does reduce the drafts, but it's not very pretty.
Unlike me, who's really pretty.
So I think this year we might look at putting an actual curtain pole up across the top and seeing what that looks like.
Whilst the tank heaters have done a really good job of not letting the tanks freeze up, there is a length of pipe from about the centre of the van to this outside edge where the taps are, and that will still freeze, certainly when you're driving for extended periods of time when it's below zero. So I routed out some old pipe lagging and I've lagged the pipes. Now it's a 28mm, it's a bit bigger than this 1/2 inch pipe lagging, so I've managed to stretch it and then cut another piece to make the gap up, duct tape, cable ties, insulated tape, anything I want. It's not pretty, but it's insulated. Even with all that, leaving the tap exposed and everything else lagged, the waste tap would freeze. So I got myself some of these external tap insulation gloves or socks, whatever you want to call them, and they just pop on and attach with Velcro. And now everything's good. I leave them on to drive as well, because they're velcroed on tight, and if I lose one, they're not a lot of money. I managed to get 3 for about £8 off Amazon. So the third one, if we were on a seasonal pitch or a fully serviced pitch, on them rare occasions we spend money on a campsite, I can put that over the tap and make sure on the pitch we don't freeze up as well. As you know, if you look back over his old videos, we've also made the very controversial move to put all-terrain tyres on the van. So don't want to get into the ins and outs of is it good, does it work, etc, etc. We've done it, and for us, through winter, it just gives us some extra confidence in all weather conditions that we've got grip and traction. As you know, when we spec'd our van, we got the dealer to install gas low. So we've got refillable cylinders. That just gives us confidence to keep using gas, keep warm, heating on, boiling water, and stay off grid, away from campsites whenever we want to. Because we're only paying about £1 a litre, so every time we burn a litre we save a couple of pounds, so it's longer off grid, being warm.
Right bud, come on. So with all of that, love, are you happy that our van is ready for winter?
No.
You're never happy.
I know, because we've got most things right, but we have an anomaly, and it's really rare, and it's happened a couple of times, so it's bugging me. So we've pinned it down to when the temperature outside is -7 for a prolonged period of time and we don't move, we're all sort of static, we start losing water. We've got a frozen pipe somewhere. So I'm going to use the pipe lagging, and I'm going to find every internal pipe, and I'm just going to lag it like you would in a house. We've not had a leak, we've not had a burst, it must be in the middle of a run, it's not at a joint, and it can only be in one of 2 places. So the first place is the pipework that leads from the pump under the bathroom and then down the side of the van. So that I can get access to and hopefully easily lag. And then the second place is somewhere between here in the bathroom and here at the boiler. There's a fresh water pipe comes down there to the boiler and then returns with hot water pipe, and somewhere in that run water's settling and then freezing, and I feel this is going to be the coldest part of the van, behind the fridge. I feel if I take that vent off and get in there and lag it, I think that's going to be the culprit, but I don't know. And I say it's really unusual. It's happened twice at -7, sustained for a number of days.
But then we haven't got one more problem that we found when we were in Lapland.
Yes, when we were really minging, freezing, horrible cold, when we put water in to fill up, that pipe goes into the van under the bed. It then goes through the floor underneath the chassis and into the fresh water tank. So there is a pipe about that diameter that's exposed, not lagged in any way, but it's quite a thick corrugated plastic material, so you'd think it'd do okay. And of all things, it froze, so it wouldn't allow us to put water in. So inside we were using the taps and everything normally, but the pipe must have had some static water in there that has then frozen solid, and we had to pour boiling water in to defrost that and get more water in. It is extreme, and I've had a look underneath. I just don't see a really good way of lagging it, to be honest. So I think for us, it's just going to be an awareness rather than a cure. And for anyone else who's having similar problems, look under your van. You'll see a pipe coming through if you've got a similar layout to ours. Just be aware of it. Well, that's it for this time. I hope that is useful. If you think it's useful to someone else, give it a share, because I don't know, every day's a school day. And if you've any other hints and tips, send them in to me and I will, I'll implement them in our little van. Thank you, as always, for the banter. You make our day, yeah.
And join us next time, because we are back up in Scotland, finishing off bits of
Dumfries and Galloway that we haven't been to before. So lots of new stops and hopefully some wildlife. Bit of rutting.
Ooh, tune in for that one.